So I write here change password. Okay, I'll just say test case. You have to handle it. First, you have to give test case name or ID. Okay. So I clearly said that naming convention matters. You need to follow standard to writing a test case names. Okay, you cannot just go and write randomly all the time. I mean, I'm telling how the industry follows to writing a test case. Okay, I am just giving you industry standards. I cannot just tell you that, test that, verify that is working as expected, write a name to it. But in general, in practical, okay, when you work for a big project, you have to follow some standards even in writing the test case name. For example, assume that there are different modules in Facebook. Account setting module has given to you. Okay, and you have to maintain a format just like account settings as something underscore. And again, I'm just giving an example. In your workplace, there might be a different format, but there will be some format. If you are working under account setting page, whatever test case you write under that page should start from AS underscore. So tomorrow, if there are total 1000 test cases, if someone asks you to execute account setting, you cannot go and open every test case to see whether it belongs to that. You will just simply filter by saying AS underscore. That's it. All the later test cases will come. As we given prefix for all those, you can go ahead and test them. Okay, just I'm telling how industry practice works. Okay, account setting underscore some standard like this, and resetting underscore, better not to give any gaps, spaces I mean to say, resetting password. Okay, in this also there might be different cases. Resetting password, check with valid account. Valid account in the sense, if you don't have any pending dues, payment dues, or if someone reported that your account is spam, in that cases you cannot access the account setting page. Did you try any time in such a way? So if there are some, if you make some mess with the Facebook, if they block your account, you will not be able to update any of this field until unless they give clearance. So this test case we are doing for general and valid user. You can say valid user. So one test case. Right. So this is my test case name. And tomorrow if you want to check with invalid user, you will create one more test case and you say like this, invalid user. So that by just seeing the test case name, you should understand what exactly test case perform. Rather than going to steps, by seeing title itself, you have to come to basic conclusion of what this exactly do. Okay. If I say invalid, right, see that. So by seeing this, I can understand that resetting password happened with invalid user. This is the test case. I'll go and verify as per test case prototype to make sure the application is working as expected. Okay. So for this, let's go with valid user flow. Right, I have given test case name successfully, and people sometimes follow test case ID also. That's up to you, whatever they define in your project and whatever sequence they give. Let's give some random number saying this is the ID of my test case. Okay, so append conventional matters. Second, I think I have clicked on enter. Naming convention. I'll give you this document for your reference, so you need not worry about that. Okay. Some random ID. Next, requirement ID. So from where do you decide that I need to write this test case? By just going to requirement docs. So client will give you the business requirements and ask you to create test cases, right? The business requirements in the sense how the application work and what are the new implementations you are making. So in that business requirements, for each requirement they will give one ID. Okay, business BR1, business requirement 1, verify the login is happening, BR2, status updating, BR3 photo adding, BR4 friend request, BR5 account settings. Assume that your password resetting is the business requirement 5. So map that business requirement to this test case. So tomorrow if someone asks where this business requirement 5th covered in your test cases, then you can filter and show. Okay, it's up to you whatever tools you use to write test cases. If you use the quality center by HP, they'll have a proper UI where you can filter each and every field. Or if you use Excel, no problem. You can give requirement IDs in one Excel sheet and you can filter that Excel with that requirement. You will get it. Okay, it's tool independent. Whatever tool you use, concept is same. Okay, this manual testing is not dependent upon any tool. So automation testing, it depends on tool specific, where whatever tool you use in manual testing, ultimately the concept remains same, whether you use Excel sheets or you use the quality center or something like Jira we have, and TestLink. There are a lot of test management tools we have. Okay, so you have to mention that business requirement here, so that tomorrow if someone asks where this business requirement cover in your test cases, you can filter and say, okay, this is the test case where it covered. So it's very good practice to map your business requirement to your test case. Fine. So in writing a one test case, these are different informations we are providing under that test case. So this is test case name. Let me write. Okay. Under this test case, now I say BR5 is the requirement I am covering. Cool. And next, description. You need to write a single line description of what exactly this test case does. Okay, so we can say that verifying password reset functionality is working with valid user credentials. Okay, just one line description which should explain what exactly you are doing here. Of course, by saying name itself, people might understand if you follow a proper standards in writing a name, but still there is a description field where you clearly have to write about what does this test case perform. And say so okay, that's it. This is the proper description. Let me write it in a bold. Right. So next, assumptions and preconditions. And this is also one of the most important one. Okay, now for your test case, what precondition we should do before you start it. Okay, for example, if you want to drive a car, so what's the precondition for it? You have to start the engine and you have to do in a first gear, right? So that's the precondition to move the car. So engine should start and you have to be in the gear 1 to start the car. That's the precondition. Fine. Now what is the precondition for your test case? You have to log in into the application, or you have to say, yeah, you have to log into the application and the user should be valid. This is the basic precondition. So then only you can do that. Or you can also say the user should be in this manage setting page. From here you can start. You can say a user should log in into the application and user should navigate to general account setting page. You can say this is my precondition. And from here you can start your test case. But in general, it's up to you how your mind decides in writing a precondition, but that should be valid. So for example, password reset, the login whatever you are using, that should be enrolled and that should not be any fraud account. That is one precondition you can tell. Okay, and if you want to run this in specific browser, you can say that precondition is that it should run in IA browser. So something like that you can give precondition, whatever it is. So I'm just giving example. Now for this password reset, you don't have much precondition for me to explain. But how can I tell you? If you take bank accounts, okay. So credit card payment you have to make. Precondition is that the account which you are logging in using internet banking customer ID, first that customer ID should have credit bank link, right? That person should have first credit card, then only you can go and make credit card payment. So if you have credit card payment test case, you will take one user ID password for internet banking and you log in. If there is no credit card for that customer, then there is no use of picking that account. So in precondition you will say that the user must have credit card access and that credit card should be linked to his internet banking. That is the precondition. If that is the case, then only you can log in and perform the credit card payment action and make sure that is working as per expected or not. Okay, got it? So what precondition matters? So here you can say valid user, valid enrolled user with manage accounts access. So user should have manage account access, then only you can go to that page and perform operation. So this is our precondition. Okay.